as being representative of that person. They no longer see that name necessarily as a memory of that person. They no longer see that name as, any real linkage to that person. They see it as their name. It is an identity they have come to assume, sometimes for extended period, 15, 20 more years. And they just feel it's their name. And yes, it is their name. So they don't even want to change it for anything. So what I'm saying is that for some people, it may just be that they don't feel up to the rigors, the headache, the trouble of going through the requirements of an official change of name. And for that reason, they want to retain that marital name. And for others, it may be that they have built a strong personal brand in that name. And you will all agree with me that a good personal brand, a strong personal brand is real currency, particularly in our current times. So for anybody who has put in all the work to build a strong personal brand, and then you turn around to say to them that, sorry, you need to change this name, that may be too much sacrifice for them to do. The cost of having to start from the scratch to rebuild, and then that for many people, marriage may have happened, at a reasonably early age, maybe in their 20s, and then they've lived most of their lives bearing this particular name after marriage, building their brand. Maybe all of their working life or most of their working life has been in that name. All of their public interactions in that time, the image, the identity that they have come to have is in that name. For some of them, it is too much sacrifice. It's not something that they are willing to contemplate. If you remember, I think it was, Tina Turner, the lead singer Tina Turner, who upon her own divorce, the request, one of the prayers she made to the court at the time was that she retain that name Tina Turner. That was the only thing she wanted. She didn't want anything from her ex-husband, because that name was the brand by which she had become known. She had fairly gotten popular at the time, and she understood that changing her name may occasion a setback in the brand that she was building. So for some people, it is a question of how that may impact on the personal brand that they are building or that they have built, and not, for any considerations of maintaining any affinity or any linkage with their ex-husbands. So these are some of the reasons why a woman may want to retain her marital name. And like I said, it is my opinion that any of those reasons is valid enough. Yes, you may not agree with it, but they're entitled. Any woman is entitled to that choice. And so long as it does not infringe on any provision of law, then they're within rights to take the name they choose. I've said there is no prescription of law that prohibits a person from assuming a name or retaining a name, so long as the assumption of that name or the retention of that name does not, is not intended for the commission of a crime, is not intended for any fraudulent reasons. So long as that is satisfied, the law permits a woman to retain her marital name after a divorce. And in a situation where maybe the man is afraid that the woman may mislead the public that they are still married when they are not married, a divorce, a pronouncement of divorce, particularly divorce certificates, is a public document. Court judgments are public documents. And if the person feels like publishing it, the person is at liberty to publish it. The mere publication of that certificate of divorce is enough notice for people to know that they are no longer married, where the person feels strongly about it and wouldn't want anybody to be misled into thinking that they are still married to their ex-spouse. But does the woman have a right to retain that name? She absolutely does. The law does not prohibit it, so long as it does not occasion any criminality. She's at liberty to do that. When we return from this brief break, it will be time for me to now hear from you as you call in with your questions, your experiences, so that we'll have a real intercourse where we both learn and we build better relationships, mindful of the legal implications of the actions and choices we make in marriage and with